Hi everyone, I'm Yana Smakula with Spellbinders at the Creative Expressions Studio. In this video, I will show you how to create this card using the Spellbinders Glimmer hot foil system and Glimmer plates. So let's get started. First, we want to go ahead and foil the sentiment, which is this thank you for your kindness. Now, the thank you for your kindness Glimmer plate consists of two separate plates, and you have the option of having a different sentiment at the bottom. Now, the way the plate has been designed, you have these notches over here, and you have little grooves on the other part of the sentiment. And this is designed to help you align the two pieces so that everything is nice and centered. I've added a piece of washi tape at the back. Any low-tech tape will do, so that it will hold the two Glimmer plates together in place. Next, I'm going to use my hinge method to attach this Glimmer plate to the paper, and I'm using just regular white cardstock. I'm just going to create the hinge, and I've taped my plate to the paper. Now, it doesn't really matter where it's somewhat centered. I just eyeballed it. I didn't measure anything. If I'm a little bit off to the side, I can crop it later, so don't stress about this being perfectly centered. I'm just going to flip the plate back. And we're going to foil the sentiment in black foil. Now, I personally love to use black foil. I think it's underrated. People don't usually use it, but I think it's fantastic, especially for sentiments. And you can also use black foil for a drop shadow effect. So let's go ahead and cut our foil to size. I'm just cutting it slightly larger than my Glimmer plate. I've positioned the foil, going to flip the plate back, trim the excess foil, so we do have a bit much here. Okay, and now I also want to add another piece of washi tape just so that everything stays in place and doesn't move. There. So everything's nice and secure. Going to put it on my Glimmer plate, on my Glimmer machine, press the timer button, add the two shims, and wait for it to heat up. Now, while the machine is heating up, I love to multitask, and I know I will need additional pieces to complete my card. I want to foil these beautiful flowers and leaves in rose gold foil on several colors of cardstock. So I might as well go ahead and do that and prep for the next foiling step while the machine is heating up. So just going to go ahead and cut my foil. Now, a little trick that I like to do with my foils, when I open them up, when I take them out from the packaging, I go ahead and I cut the barcode on the back, and I actually adhere it on the inside of the roll so that I can easily tell what color foil this is. Because sometimes it gets confusing, but I add the barcode on the inside and I'm able to tell what color it is. So just going to cut this, and while I was chatting, the machine is actually now hot enough and ready to go, so I'm going to go ahead and foil this. Remember, send it slowly through your die cutting machine. You don't need to rush. And go back. Remember to dock it so that the platform remains hot for your next foiling project. And let's go ahead and carefully peel it off to see if it foiled well. Actually, you can see that it did not foil well, and we have some underfoiling. Now, because we used the hinge method, remember the washi tape here, I can actually go ahead, remove this foil, add another fresh piece of foil over it, flip the die back, secure it with another piece of low-tech tape, and foil it again. Think of this as double stamping. So if you didn't foil correctly, or if it didn't foil enough the first time, you can double or even triple foil to save your project. You don't need to toss this. You can keep foiling until you have the perfect result. So let's go ahead and do that. This time I'm going to go ahead and place it like this on my machine. Again, press the timer button, add my shims, and wait for the machine to heat up. Also, because we did not have a perfect foil result, we can try and add a shim. But for now, we're just going to do that and see if that works. If it doesn't, we'll try to add a shim. While that's heating up, I'm going to add my flowers. Multitasking and prepping things ahead of time just saves you time when you foil, because you do have to wait for a minute for the light to turn solid green. And while you do that, you might as well go ahead and prep for your next for the next piece that you want to foil. I find it just saves me some time. I'm actually going to go twice just to make sure that I get a good result. Go ahead and place this on the Glimmer. Now the platform ready light is not yet green, but it doesn't matter. I'm just going to place it here and let it sit for a couple minutes or a couple seconds before the platform ready light turns green, and then I will press the timer button. Now while this is heating, let's check if it foiled well. Yes, it did. It foiled much better this time. We almost have a perfect foil transfer. Going to press the timer button since it's already hot, add the shims and wait for it to turn solid green. Going to set this aside. We don't need it now. We will need to foil additional flowers first. We have a bit of overfoiling on the smaller flower, but that's okay. We can fix that using a pencil eraser. Now you just want to go ahead and foil the same images twice on 3 different colors of cardstock. Cut them out so that you have additional embellishments for your card. So we finished foiling all of our flowers and leaves, and we do have just a little bit of overfoiling in between the petals, and this is easily fixable. Just use a pencil eraser or a sanding eraser and just erase that excess foil. Very easy. There are coordinating dies available for many of the Spellbinders Glimmer plates, so I'm going to go ahead and finish cutting these out. I've already pre-cut many of the flowers for our card. And this is very easy. You just align the dies over the foiled images and try not to add any double-sided tape over the foiled pieces, because when you add adhesive over foil, it can lift some of the foil off. So just be mindful of that. Almost ready. Just need to cut this one little leaf. Now this die also cuts a flower center if you want to add a die cut flower center to your card, but we're not going to be adding those. We'll just leave our flowers as is without any centers. Of course, you can also add like little gems or pearls or other embellishments to your flower centers if you like. Okay, it's time to assemble our card. I already have a card base for this project. I'm going to go ahead and adhere our foiled sentiment, trying to place it in the center of the card base. So just add the double-sided adhesive. I've also already pre-cut and die cut another panel. I've die cut a circle opening, and the opening is just large enough to accommodate the sentiment, and you can use any circle die for this. I'm going to go ahead and add double-sided adhesive to the back of the panel to foam mount it on the card. I like to add dimension to my projects, so I tend to use a lot of foam adhesive. If you prefer your cards to be flatter, flat cards are easier to mail, you can just go ahead and use regular glue to add this to your card. Okay, this looks really nice. And we already have our little flowers to embellish the project. Once again, I am going to use some foam adhesive and also some glue to adhere these in place. Like I said, I like to create dimension, and for that I'm always using foam adhesive. You can also shape the flower petals if you like to give them a bit more lift and dimension, or you can leave them as is. We have a couple of extra flowers and we can always save those and use them on another project. So all you need to do now is add a couple of gems or pearls. You can decorate the flower centers or scatter a couple of embellishments around your floral clusters. I hope you enjoyed this project. Thank you for joining us today. Bye!